Good, Chaotic Nation, it's your boy Chaos here. Welcome back to the this is not BDL, this is the RGBL Season 13-14, Week 7, our match against the Newark Noctowls. So we are doing the team builder. Of course, if you want to check out the match, it's linked right there, so you can go ahead and skip over to that and enjoy the battle, but you want to see what we're bringing and why we're bringing it, so make sure you stick around for that too. Alrighty, let's see. We are starting our competition with a lot of different things here for his team. So he has a Primarina, he's got Clodsire, Mesprint, Articuno, Galarian form, which is Terra. You can Terra into anything. Decidueye, Umbreon, Cinccino, which he picked up from us actually, that we dropped a while ago. Copper Raja, Regirock, Regieleki, and Typhlosion. So pretty good team, pretty balanced team. It's honestly been doing pretty well this season, only lately starting to find trouble, and I'm hoping that I can cause a little bit more trouble to this team. Now, one thing I didn't mention at the beginning that I probably should have is that we have no potential for playoffs. We are out. You need 4 wins to get in, and we are at 1-5 right now, so I needed to get 4 wins, and there's only 2 weeks left, so I can only get 3 and 5 to be the end of the season, which doesn't going to get us playoffs. So unfortunately we're out, but I already had the teams built, and I thought I might as well go ahead and play these games the best I can to try to just get a little bit of pride victory back for the team and what we've been doing. So that's going to be the case for us and what we're bringing today. But he's got a pretty good team. A lot of these trades have happened recently, like Regieleki, Mesprint, Cinccino, actually all were recent adds to the team, which can cause some problems because we don't have any information on them at all. So we're just kind of taking a stab at it and seeing what happens. So we got this team that I actually built before those changes were made, and nothing really changed besides a set of one-over Pokemon, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. But we got Vikavolt here to begin. Charge Bolt the Vikavolt with Assault Vest, Levitate this week, Thunderbolt, Buck Buzz, Energy Ball, and Volt Switch. We're running fully offensive because I need to run Assault Vest in order to live some hits. That's the point. It's a good switch in for Articuno, good switch in for Primarina, and that's kind of what it's here for. It's meant to be more of an offensive Pokemon this week because I've been bringing a lot of offensive and speedy Vikavolt, and I think a lot of the coaches are expecting to see that. Maybe see a setup Vikavolt that will use agility to try to win, and we're not doing that this week. We're doing a little bit of a defensive pivot set, which is why Volt Switch is on it. I don't normally run it, but it is here. Obviously Clodsire is going to be a problem for that because it will stop me from Volt Switching out, but it's not really meant to deal with that. Vikavolt's not meant to have any battle against the Clodsire, and if it does, then something went wrong. That's just how it went. So with Vikavolt, we're really meant to deal with Primarina. It's not a great matchup for Primarina, but we can deal with Primarina. Our best matchups are actually against Articuno, Umbreon, and Mesprint, as well as Regieleki. We can take any hit from Regieleki really, really well with that Assault Vest and do some awesome damage back. You might be like, well, where is Hazards? Where are Sticky Webs? So there is competitive that can be run by the Articuno, and it's not a problem at the beginning when it's a Flying and Psychic type, but once it becomes a Terra type, it's not, I'm assuming not Ice, the Terra type that I'm assuming is not Flying, it will then take the competitive boost, which will make it +1 in both stats, which is helpful because it is slower than us then, but it also lets it pretty much kill anything, and this thing probably running Roost and Calm Mind and those kinds of things. We don't need to get this thing set up at all, so we're not going to be running that. I thought about it. It's a really good option for this team, especially with the option of Scarf Typhlosion and that Regieleki bouncing around, so it is a good option, but I don't think it's a worthwhile bring this week. So we're running max special attack, 196 HP and 60 speed. That does give us a speed creep on Umbreon, I think. That was the plan for that. So it's good for some utility. It's not really meant to be fast, but it's going to take a couple hits and dish out a lot of damage. Good pivot option for the team, and I think we need that this week with how much this team likes to use utility to pivot in and out and get the team in the situation where something like Articuno or Mesprint or Regieleki or Typhlosion could sweep. So we need to stop that utility as much as possible and be able to sponge the hits a little bit better. So that's what we're doing with Vikavolt this week. Up next is Deku, our Sceptile with an Air Balloon, not Assault Vest. Running Unburden this week. I've found that the Unburden Air Balloon set is the one to go with if I want to make sure I get it, because they have to hit me, and no matter what I hit, get hit with. Even if it's a resisted move, I do lose the air balloon and then I'm proc. So Sceptile is free to jump in and do some work this week. I'm running all offensive sets, so I'm running Leaf Blade, Acrobatics, Terra Blast, and Earthquake or Terra Rock this week, mostly to deal with that Articuno on a switch in. It also gives us coverage for a few other things on the team. I actually don't think this is the right team, but Terra is useful for Articuno. It is useful, that's really it, and Terra for Typhlosion. So to catch those two off guard is really the plan. I am expecting Terra Fairy, but this will stop Hurricane from doing a lot of damage from that Articuno, and I wanted to be able to kind of deal with that a little bit better. So Sceptile can do a lot of damage this week. It beats Primarina if it's procced, which means it just has to come in and get hit. It beats Articuno as long as I'm Terra. It beats Decidueye as long as I'm not Terra, because Terra Rock will lose to a Leaf Blade from a Decidueye or a Leaf Storm, whichever variant Decidueye is going to run, we're going to be losing to it if we are Terra'd. We can take on Copperajah. We deal with Typhlosion pretty well if we're Terra'd. It might be a good option to deal with Eruption and dish back a lot of damage. And also we can deal with Regieleki pretty dang well. So that's a lot of what Deku's going to be doing. Again, I'm not really meant to be a sweeper this week, but utility Pokemon that can outspeed his team. Max HP, max attack, adamant nature, and a little bit in defense to kind of live some of the hits a little bit better. Up next is Mr. Nezu, our Espeon, with choice specs this week. So this is the set that I actually changed. It was a leftovers set instead of choice specs. That's really the only change I made besides the move slot. I changed Trick I had Light Screen to help deal with Regieleki, but I opted for choice specs because I think Trick is really useful in this game. Espeon's main goal is to stop hazards, which is why it's running Magic Bounce. But I can trick choice specs onto something like Clodsire, onto something like Copperajah or Regirock that want to click Stealth Rocks or want to click Spikes or want to click this or that, and they're locked into a move at that point. It's also a good niche for Mesprit. It can be very helpful. It also can be very hindering depending on what set it is. Usually I would expect to see more of a pivoting offense, like offensive pivot kind of style of Mesprit, which means it would be more physically attacking than specially. So I think we can get away with choice specs. Also, choice specs allows us to do a lot of damage to a lot of things. We're already naturally pretty fast, and I'm maxed out in speed with a timid nature, putting us at 350 speed, which is outspeeding most of this team. We're also max special attack, so that'll help out with some of the damage we can do. So this thing will hurt, even if I don't have to Trick, but Trick's a nice utility in the back in case I need to do something and deal with these Pokemon. As I said, it's mainly meant to deal with hazards, so that's going to be my counter to Copperajah, my counter to Clodsire, my counter to Umbreon, my counter to Regirock. And you might be like, it's counter to Umbreon, choice, so that's why choice specs is there. Choice specs Umbreon does do nothing, and then it's basically locked into one of its moves, which really hinders Umbreon to being a useless Pokemon unless it's going to just sit there and keep pivoting out, which it can do, and that's okay, but it does limit what Umbreon can do. It can't just sit there and go Toxic, Wish, Protect. It can't do any of that stuff. It has to just click one of the moves and then switch out, which is really helpful for the team. And we didn't have a great option against Umbreon because we don't have a fighting type that really can deal with this. Cobalion can, but it's, you know, it's not going to one-shot it, so that's a little bit of our problem there. But again, like, Clodsire is really the bring for this. Psyshock is a one-shot, even without choice specs, which is kind of why I was running leftovers before, but I need specs to help deal with some of these options in the back, and I feel like this is the best way to do it. I have nothing to lose, so even if I choice Scarf something that's, you know, a special attacker, it might hinder them. We don't know. It could play really well into this game for us as well, so I'm not sure. It also is a good way to deal with Typhlosion. I can, as long as Choice Scarf is not what Typhlosion has, we can deal with it. And even if it is Choice Scarf, if we trick into that, we can do a lot of damage to Typhlosion and make it a little bit harder to deal, well, a little bit easier to deal with because of speed tier, and we have something else for it, so we're in a good spot. All right, moving on to our Entei, which is really our breaker this week. We got Choice Band Entei with Inner Focus, runs Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stone Edge, and Reversal. So we know Stone Edge missed last week. That was a big issue for us. So we gonna have to come back from that. I need to click it and hit it, which is I answer for Typhlosion and some other things, but Choice Band Entei can do a lot of damage. A max attack, not invested as much in the speed. I am max speed, but I'm not timid, I'm adamant, because I feel like the attack damage is a little bit better, especially with the priority and extreme speed, which is going to go first every single time. And that being Choice Bandit off of max attack, adamant is going to hurt pretty much anything, so it can do a lot of work. It's a good answer for Primarina if I get it on the switch. It's one of his bulky options to switch in and out, so Entei can come in and deal with that pretty nicely, and we're gonna have a good time there. It's okay against Clodsire, but it can really do a lot of work against Articuno, Decidueye, Umbreon, Copperajah, Typhlosion, Regieleki, even if it's chipped. So as long as we do a little bit of damage to it, extreme speed will kill. I think it's 80, it's like a 78 to an 86% or something like that. That's the range. So if we get a little bit of chip on it, Entei can clean up. We can also do some work on Chinchino and Mesprit. Really, it's good for Chinchino because Chinchino just wants to be faster than the whole team, because it is, and kill us. So that's a problem, and we can deal with that with Entei a little bit better. So that's kind of the point here. A good breaker and a good cleaner, so hopefully Entei does some work. We got Goodra in the back here with leftovers and Sap Sipper. This is my way to deal with Decidueye. Decidueye wants to be a pivot and wants to hit us with the grass moves. We can predict the grass moves with Sap Sipper and not have to worry about that. I'm running offensive set this week with Earthquake, Knockoff, Power Whip, and I have Toxic in the back. Toxic is really useful for some of these things I need to chip down, like Typhlosion, like Umbreon, like Regieleki. Those things we can come in and chip down. We are adamant, we are max HP, 252, and we are 220 in special defense, so we can take hits from things like Regieleki pretty well. And we have a little bit of attack investment, so if I do get the +1, I am going to hurt because I am 36 and adamant. So it could do some really good damage. Leftovers then for recovery, which is really nice. Goodra is really meant to be a defensive pivot and really meant to deal with the Articuno and Decidueye. Can do some other work too. It's a nice check to Typhlosion if that's something, and that's why I have Earthquake here to help deal with that. But I also can knock off and get rid of items, which is really helpful, and I think this is a nice utility mon for the team to go from there. And last but not least is probably one of the best Pokemon I'm bringing, even though it was a Pokemon I wasn't gonna bring at the beginning of this, but I had to because of Chinchino. And I'm scared of Chinchino because of one thing: Tail Slap, Technician, Loaded Dice is really, really deadly. Maushold was the same way, and I had this set kind of cooked for that, so it does the same thing here. I'm Rocky Helmet, I'm max defense, max HP, which means those physical hits are going to do absolutely nothing, and we're going to take damage back. So with a little bit of chip, Cobalion kills everything with Body Press. I have Quick Attack for priority if I need to use that. I have Volt Switch for pivoting, and I get Rocks up as an option to deal with his pivoting, which is really good against something like Articuno that's going to take a lot of damage from it. Really good for Typhlosion to chip it down if it's wanting to do like Choice Scarf Eruption spam. We can kind of limit the amount of times it can switch in and do things like that. So this is a really good Pokemon this week. It might be my lead. I think Espeon also might be my lead. Just depending on what we see. If we see those defensive Pokemon, Espeon's going to be out front, because I do expect Clodsire to be the lead this week. What I'm expecting from this team is I really expect Stealth Rocks on Regirock. I expect Primarina with leftovers and being an offensive pivot, probably with like Flip Turn. Articuno is going to be a Calm Mind setup sweeper with the Terra. I'm assuming Terra Fairy, just goes well in my team. I don't really have a counter to it. And really good for things like Goodra, which is going to be the thing to check it. So I think Terra Fairy is the way to go. Decidueye as an offensive pivot, maybe as a defogger too. We'll see that coming out, but because I do have a lot of hazards, so I would expect to see that. Umbreon with Stall. I think Umbreon's been brought most weeks, and that's a really good Pokemon for his team. And then Typhlosion, Choice Scarfed with Eruptions, other stuff to kind of deal with my team. It's got access to a lot of utility moves, so it can be really menacing for the team, and that's a really good way for him to try to deal with my Sceptile. So that is the team. I'm going to get into this battle, and I will see you over there for the actual match. All right, we are at team preview, so exactly what I expected. Barring Typhlosion is swapped for the Mesprit, so that still could be Choice Scarfed Mesprit. And Mesprit's actually a bit of an issue because Mesprit gets a lot of moves. So I think Mesprit Shadow Ball is an option at the beginning of the game. He could also predict, yeah, Mesprit Shadow Ball is an option for the game. So I do kind of want to lead Espeon and just go from there, but I also want to see what the Mesprit setup could do. It's not really doing much when we two-shot. Oh, I'm also calcing for leftovers, so let's calc for choice. Specs. Choice specs is 89%. Is 98%, I can read. It's backwards, depending on the set. A Choice Scarf variant, which is probably U-turn. U-turn would do a lot of damage. and that could be a really good lead for him, especially if he U-turns into Umbreon, which is kind of the expectation. I'm not really sure. So again, it comes down to lead matchups. I've been really bad at these all season. We are correct on the Terra Fairy as well. We did that really well. That was good, a good play. I expected it. So the lead, I do think we should go with probably Espeon. We could also lead Edge and just see what happens from there, but I think lead Espeon is what I want to do. So let's do it. There's a Claude. Perfection. All right, so the easy switch right now is to go into Umbreon, and I think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and trick. I'm not going to make any plays. This is exactly what I expected from the lead. We're going to trick. So we'll see what happens here. Is he going to go? He's going to go Primarina, which isn't really great for us to trick items with. It's Assault Vest. So you stop my trick. But Primarina with Assault Vest. So we get to look at the Assault Vest. I'm not Specs anymore. I am actually Assault Vest now. And you are Choice Specs. So this could hurt a lot. Choice Specs, he can't do a lot to me. Psyshock is actually more effective with this set, it looks like. So let's Psyshock and see what happens here. Psyshock is 47. We are hitting a low roll, and my special attack goes down. So you are locked into that. You are locked into. So that was a good switch for you. I should have probably just clicked Psyshock, but I was worried about Umbreon, and which is why I went straight for the switch here. I need Espeon to stay alive, so I have to switch here. Into what is a great question. Cobalion, the Chargeable is probably the thing that wants to take that the most. Primarina, Assault Vest. We want to look at the pivot set. Primarina. We want to look at heavy duty boots, offensive flip turn. So with choice specs, it is going to do it is a 2-shot. So that is really bad. I don't have another way really to deal with Clodsire, which is really sad. I could go into Umbreon here. This could be the Sceptile switch. Sceptile really isn't doing much. It has some options, but it is a safe middle ground play right now just to use. Primarina is honestly not what I want to have the Choice Scarf, but the Choice Specs actually. But Moonblast is 89%, but we do get in for free, so let's go ahead and do it. It's not a great switch. We see the balloon. He's gonna go Articuno, which actually works well for us. I can Terra. We do have the Decidueye in the back to deal with, which is okay. I wish I stayed in there. You see my Terra, obviously. So if we're looking at a setup, Articuno, Terra Fairy is actually not great. You probably Terra Fairy here. Would be my guess. I should probably Terra Rock. But I don't really get anything from that. I get more damage, but that's really it. So let's go to Charge Bolt here. Let's just make a middle ground play. Terra Fairy, you're gonna Future Sight, which is fine. We get to see that you're set up. I want to click what? That is 100% set up. Thunderbolt into Articuno-G. Thunderbolt is a KO, so we Thunderbolt, or we can Grass Knot. We should actually Energy Ball. So actually Volt Switch is doing a lot too, but it's because it's flying type. If we set you to Fairy, sorry I can't type, Fairy, we Terra you, everything is kind of doing the same. Energy Ball is 42%, and Thunderbolt is half, which is great, but he could straight up go to Claude, and I think that's what he wants to do. So let's see what Clodsire wants to do here. We're actually doing nothing to Clodsire, so we can make the big prediction and go into Espeon right now, which is helpful. if we get the right thing correct. But I'm gonna just Energy Ball, do the safe one. There's the U-turn. So that was the right play. This isn't the Claude. This is 100% Claude, I would assume. It's good U-turn, good tech, good Claude. We saw that. This should do 21%, 29%. You are physically defensive. All right, and then so the question is now, can Espeon take a hit from Clodsire? That's the question. 54%. It's 42. It's a roll, and we probably can't live it. My gut tells me this is Stealth Rock, so let's just go for it. If we lose, what's the other counters to Claude? Goodra? Sceptile can do it. Let's go. No. Hold on. I want to read more. We can deal with Claude with Entei. Clodsire. Defensive Clodsire. He is in range for Entei. So let us go to Nezu and see what happens here. There's the Earthquake. That's a good play. Alright, we go to Entei. We click Sacred Fire. We don't even think about it. Nothing wants to switch into that besides maybe the Primarina, and we know it's specs, so it cannot be faster than me, and we kill it as long as we hit everything. So we get a KO here. Unfortunately, Espeon's down, which means our answer to this thing is not great at the moment. But we do have Cobalion in the back with Chase 2. So that I feel like you're holding on to that Decidueye for some reason. I don't know what that is. That's a good question. Probably as the answer to Cobalion. So Sacred Fire is a 2-shot. We get a burn. We don't get a burn. We get a Toxic. But we do show that we're locked into it. Alright, so that's fine. I'll take the trade here. That puts Claude in such a bad position. Tox is expected. Which is okay. Entei is meant to be a breaker, so I can keep switching him in on free turns. That's maybe how we win this. I'm not sure. I mean, he's playing great. I don't think I've played really bad anywhere. The only thing I think I misplayed was not clicking the move turn 1 and giving the choice specs to Primarina. We still have plenty of ways to deal with that thing, but it's probably going to kill something on the way out. So Umbreon, we're going to do half. We're going to go straight to Cobalion here. Because he probably is foul play Umbreon. That's actually a really good check, Umbreon. Umbreon with support, foul play is 8.8% to Cobalion, so that's fine. That's an easy switch. There's the rest, that's fine. We get free Stealth Rock here. That's what I'm going to take. So that means everything's going to be chipped. That rest also, because there is Sleep Clause in this. This first time it's actually ever popped up. That rest is self-induced, so if I had another way to put it to sleep, I would be okay to do that. But honestly, a sleeping Umbreon is kind of okay with me. He has a lot of recovery. That Clodsire definitely has recover on it. And we see the rest on the Umbreon, so it's not even the wish support. We did see leftovers, so it is bulky leftovers. Rest is an option. He might have Sleep Talk, which could be poison. It wouldn't be wish. It could be poison with Toxic. And then maybe foul play is the set, or Snarl. Mesprit's coming in. Sweet. Alright, we're gonna get rocks up. You're gonna get rocks up. Which is the issue. Yeah, here comes the rocks. We can get a little bit of information, I think, based on the Mesprit type we want to see. So, do I want to switch out? Mesprit really can't do much to me. If it's Scarfed, Psychic's 50%. That's a lot, but I think you want to go for Stealth Rocks here. I honestly would. I want to really Volt Switch bad, but I don't want to take a Psychic or like something like that. I think you also get access to Earthquake from that now. You get access to any ground type moves? No. What about Fire? It could Fire Punch me. Which would be bad. I think we do have to just go to Charge Bolt here and see what happens. Psychic, that's a great read. We are way slower, and that is definitely scarfed. I mean, specked. Crazy. So, Mesprit. Let's see the Mesprit set. Mesprit, Scar. Let's see specs. Specs Psyshock does 50. So let's look at Psychic. Specs Psychic does 55. Okay, so he's modest. Yeah, he's modest specs. So this was a great answer to it, but I don't have anything that really wants to switch in here. So we either sack or we go to something else and try to deal with it. Can we deal with Mesprit? I want to see Psychic. Can we deal with that? No. Subtitle can't deal with it. So we sack. We have to. That is specs. So now what comes in here? Can Goodra do some work here? Mesprit. Psychic. I mean, I think... Yeah, D-Gleam is way better, and we can get a free knockoff, so I think it is Goodra. That is specs. I could Toxic. I don't know what really wants to come in right now. Actually, the Umbreon is probably the play. So I'm going to click knockoff. Predicting the Umbreon. Yeah, we are out. I think we're already out of this. Just because we didn't deal with Claude as fast as we needed to. Double specs is really bad. Because my team isn't fast. And I need a lot of chippies. Because I got... There's Primarina. Alright, that's okay. Because that's no specs Primarina now. Which... Primarina with the pivot set. Moonblast is 62. I mean, Power Whip would have been nice. We know it's not defense. It is. It's not even. It's fully. It's offensive. Because Knockoff did what? Knockoff did 14%. Actually, no, it has to be somewhat defensive. I think you gave you 80. Yeah, it has to be defensive in some capacity. It might not be speed invested. We haven't seen that. And it was Assault Vest, so it could be bulky and we could Power Whip for the KO. We know it is going to be a Moonblast, and nothing really wants to come into that besides maybe Entei. Primarina, the boots that we don't have an item. Moonblast is 34%, and I would be relying on something else to hit it. So I don't really know what I want here. I think Subtitle is maybe a little bit less useful. Again, Primarina, heavy duty boots with no item. I mean, that's gonna get Subtitle set up regardless. And I'm full health, so I can do some work here. Let's do that. Let's show off the balloon. Draining Kiss is the play. So that's fine. Alright, so Draining Kiss Primarina, it is the defensive set. Primarina, so it's probably this one. Psychic Noise. And instead of Moonblast, it has Draining Kiss. I don't think anything on this team really wants to take the Leaf Blade right now. So I think we're pretty free into that. So we know you don't have a way to shut that down, and Subtile being the speed it is means it's faster than anything on the field. So we should be pretty good. The real question is what's that Decidueye set? What's that Decidueye set? Does it have Shadow Sneak? Did it have access to put it in there? That's the real question here. So we'll see what happens. Again, as I said, this battle doesn't mean anything for me because I'm already out of playoffs. It's just kind of trying my best to stay in here. But that chip is really nice. Puts a lot of things in range for Entei, and Entei on a timer is not great. So All right, Sceptile's gonna get a kill. Maybe this is the week Sceptile actually does some work and goes sweeping. We'll see. I don't have a really... I do have a good way to deal with the Decidueye because I have Acrobatics. But let's see. If he brings in Decidueye, I feel like that's what he's gonna have to do. And he's gonna have to Shadow Sneak, and I'm not in range. But he Shadow Sneaks twice, and I'm still out of range. The max... no, I'm in range. I'm in range. No, I'm out of range because the max I can do is 73%, so I'm 1% out of range. It's 36.9 twice. That is Adamant. And that is Adamant with Spell Tag, so he would have to be Life Orb. There's Articuno. Did we ever see we never saw the Future Sight come off. Hurricane is definitely an option here. I think we need to Terra. It is Terra Fairy. We go Terra Rock, we still click Leaf Blade. And I don't really need to save this, so let's do it. Terra Rock, Leaf Blade, that does 46, which means it is the middle ground. Alright, so you're Future Sighting. I'm gonna fish for... If I can get a crit, that would be great. I think we do the same thing. I could see a switch into Decidueye now. Future Sight is 75%, so we could KO. And this could be a really good opportunity to get Decidueye in to Leaf Blade or Shadow Sneak me down to the percentage that will guarantee that kill. So I would expect to see Decidueye here. If that's the case, the right play is actually Terra Blast. But for the sake of Articuno, okay. I should have done that. For the sake of Articuno, I should have clicked the other one. No crit, unfortunate. Acro is 50%. Terra Blast is going to do... Oh, that's not... I am unburdened, no item. So he has to Shadow Sneak me if he wants to live. Either way, Decidueye will die. We have a percentage to live. Alright, Decidueye's dead. That's a big thing off the field. There's a Future Sight. It does kill with the high roll, which is really sad. So 54, 54, 100, and 100. What's Entei looking like right now? Mesprit Specs. Entei Sacred Fire. I need a little bit of chip. Stealth Rocks will provide a little bit of chip, but I don't think it's a 37.5% chance with Stealth Rock to get a KO. The thing that I would see is probably the Mesprit or the... So honestly, anything comes in, the Mesprit cannot kill me with Entei. So Entei can come in and just click Sacred Fire, and I think we might actually be able to win. Articuno, Galar. The only thing that would be the only thing is the Articuno coming in, and he would have to... Yeah, that would be the only thing. So it's probably Articuno. We're going to go into Lemillion, I think, to deal with that. Is that the right call? So what happens if it's not? What happens if it's not? What happens? I mean, Goodra has a good matchup anyway. So let's do that. It's a safe middle ground play. We need to get rid of the... Okay, that's an Umbreon, which is fine. It's asleep. I'm going to knock off. I want to get rid of lefties. That's fine. Lefties is gone. You're still asleep. Alright, we're going to go out to Edge. And this could be a Volt Switch, a really good Volt Switch. Into, so Articuno, Galar, Future Sight, Piv. This could be a good Volt Switch, which would put Articuno really low and in range for you to come in, which I think is good. I don't really lose much by clicking it. But a body press is 14%. Let's click it. Let's not click it. Hold on. I'm glad he didn't pick, because I'm a little bit like hesitant now. I'm like, ugh, do I click it? But we should be able to. So that should do 26 to 31, which will put Articuno in 20%, which I think it's in range for Entei anyway. Either way, he has to make a switch here, and Entei is choice baited, so I think we go for it. Because let's see what. So the only thing Entei's really worried about is that Articuno, and as long as it's under half, which if it switches in at any point, it's under half. So E-Speed wins. So I Volt Switch and try to get Entei in. And then I use these two as pivots to keep Entei healthy as much as possible and get the KO there. So Entei has to steamroll here. I think that's my win con. Really glad not to see the Chinchino. I would have loved to see the tech work out because honestly, a tail slap with loaded dice and technician would make Chinchino basically kill itself and after you clicked it twice. So we get a free switch in, we get a free rocks, and then it's dead, and Cobalion's like 75% health. It's really nice. Really nice tech and really nice set, but it forced Cobalion, which is really good because Cobalion in Mox has been phenomenal. You have heavy duty boots though. Alright. That's fine. That's heavy duty boots. Let's take a look. That was a great pivot. So Leaf Blade did 46%. To Articuno. So let's not jump Art Gun. Leaf Blade did 46%. 46%. Into, wow. Oh, because it's fairy. Leaf Blade did 46%, which is a roll, so it is probably not defensive. It's probably max. But this, I have to go Entei here. I think we have to hope that 47 it should be a KO. So let's do it. We E-Speed. Best thing you can do is switch out to something else to take this hit. But the thing is, if you go to Claw, which you should do, which is probably your best thing, if you go to anything, you put yourself in range. So the only real issue is this Articuno. And if we can KO it here, which would be really great. So you have to see my play as E-Speed. I could make a big brain play, and a very, very risky big brain play, and clicking Sacred Fire, which would nuke that Mesprit. But you are now in range for Entei, and I don't know if you would read that, because you don't know if I'm banded or not. E-Speed, he stays in. That's phenomenal. That's what I needed. All right. We're in business. We're in business. Entei gets that kill. I think we're clean. The issue is Mesprit. And Mesprit we know is SPECted, so it has to come in and take Stealth Rocks damage, and that would put it at like 70. That would give us a 37.5% chance with Sacred Fire to KO. Umbreon is not an issue right now. Besides if it has Foul Play, then it's a problem. So we really need to keep Cobalion for Umbreon. We need to let Goodra go down somehow. And honestly, Goodra has a really good fight into everything else that's on the field. So I can basically, I see Mesprit, you get chipped. We know that Mesprit will KO me with Psychic. And if I could click Sacred Fire, we would be in such a good boat. But I have to go into Lemillion here. So this is going to come down the wire. So I can go into Lemillion here, click the Psyshock for 71%. That'll allow me to switch my moves around. That's a really good play. Because any way you slice it, I'm dead. So on the off chance, let's click it in case it misses. But now we are banking on a percentage here, because there's no other option for us to do besides click Sacred Fire. And I should be faster. I have to be faster, so this has to be a KO or we're boned. And knowing my luck this season, it is a 37.5% roll. I will not get that roll. I didn't. I got the lowest freaking roll ever. Yeah, that's GG's. Unfortunate. Yeah, the burn is really helpful for nothing. I mean, it's not completely over. Cobalion, I don't think has a really good chance at pulling this back with what would you clicking Psyshock? You have double stab. Okay, we have a pretty good shot. I'm just gonna have to click Body Press. I have to click the best move for, because anything kills. Actually, I should click Quick Attack, because that is a KO. That is guaranteed KO. Claude. If Clodsire wants to come in right now, Body Press is my best bet. What percentage are you at? You're at 34. So 8.6. So if I get min, that would put me at just under 30. I have to Body Press here. I'm so fast. I have to body press there because if Claude comes in, it's over. The other thing is Claude can still come in and be an absolute menace to my team. Because I only have so many body presses, but then that might be stall class. Because he's really, that would be really stalling me out. With the stealth rocks, I have to crit here basically. But I have to put body press. I needed a crit. I didn't get it. There's recover. So we're going to do stall. Which is just, I mean, it is the way it works. I need a crit. You're just going to keep recovering. Okay, so this is going to be how the end of this battle goes out. Because it's going to be body press, earthquake, body press, earthquake, body press, earthquake. I'm rocking helmet, so unfortunately the chip doesn't happen. But yeah, that was just unfortunate. He played that ending really smart because he really needed to let Mesprit go down. There's a crit that I needed 2 turns ago. Which is unfortunate. And that's the battle, unfortunately. Again, it came down to not getting a roll that we needed, so that's fine, because we hit that Sacred Fire for all the HP. I have full confidence that between the Pokemon that I have, we would KO the rest of the team. I think the issue was maybe the choice specs. I got a little hasty with that, really predicting that Umbreon to come in, and he was playing that pretty nicely to the back. I don't think we played bad, I just think we got unlucky again. With how things turned out, not necessarily because of hacks. It was a 37%, 37.5% roll, so that's not the worst case scenario in the world, but you know, just a little bit. I wish the Vikavolt could have been better. It honestly just got sacked. Maybe Assault Vest. I did have Assault Vest on it at one point, so actually I did have Assault Vest on it. It's just crazy the amount of damage that happens. Wish I clicked a move first turn, knowing that the Umbreon wasn't really that much of a threat. That would be the thing I changed, and that would have been it. But otherwise, I think we played well. You know, this could, again, as I said, this could have been a different season based on just a few changes that happened, but it just not working my way at all for this time around. And also, we've tried, like, it just, nothing is working out this season. And I mean, he's played well. And we just didn't get things in the right perspective that we needed to. I needed to click the Psychic move turn 1. That was it. Yeah, that was really it. I needed to click Psychic move first turn, and that would have been a dead Primarina basically, and Umbreon then would have been forced to come in, which would have got Cobalion in, which would have done a lot of things to make this a really good battle for me. So it's just a change in one move, and that really made or break it. And as I said, like, we got the lead matchup right this time. It just wasn't the right move that we picked. So I don't know what else to tell you. So we'll see you next week. Actually, I don't know how these battles are coming up. I'm sure this one is probably going to be, I'm going to try to get it up on the week 8 slot, maybe week 8 a little bit later. So we'll see about that. Yeah, GG's to my opponent. I can't catch a break. That's how it is, and I'll see you next time. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more. In the description, check out all the links, and I will catch you in the next one. So until then, my name's Chaos. I'm your coach of the Detroit Red Wingulls. See you next time. Stay safe out there, and as always, burn it up.